I'm told all the time by people how important music is to them. Like a lot of people, I didn't realize that I deserved to be happy. If you're in a dark place,
Mm.
you can be drawn to dark music.
It's Rania here, your host on The Healing Train, a podcast designed to help you lighten your load, release whatever is weighing you down, and reconnect with yourself. Whether it's a toxic relationship, childhood wounds that never healed, struggling with self forgiveness, or on a healing journey, it's time we have these uncomfortable conversations. Let's dive deep with experts and professionals in psychology, health and wellness, and alternative healing, and also ordinary people that have been there. It may just be the fresh perspective you need to support your journey. You could even be a guest on this show. This is a space for sharing stories, a safe stop where you can pause, recharge, and know you're not alone. So take a deep breath, settle in, and join me on today's ride as we explore the path to healing together. Hop on board the healing train. Too tough for folk and too blues influenced for country. Lynne Hanson's brand of Porsche music with a little red dirt can turn on a dime from a sunshine, blue sky ballad to a full on thunderstorm of gritty Americana swamp from one song to the next. Her hard living music has garnered her nickname Canada's own Queen of Americana. And while her deep bluesy croon has drawn comparisons to Lucinda Williams and Gillian Welch, it's the poetry of her lyrics that really sets her apart. Hanson is known for her high energy, roots guitar driven live performances. She has an uncanny way of connecting with her audience with an authenticity that is as entertaining as it is disarming. Hanson has released 10 studio albums along with 2 books of poetry over her 19 years solo career. Along the way, she's won 2 Canadian Folk Music Awards as well as the Colleen Peterson Songwriting Award. She's toured extensively across North America, Europe, and the UK, and appeared at leading international festivals. Her latest album, Just a Poet, has been nominated for a Canadian Folk Music Award for Contemporary Album of the Year. And without further ado, I'm so excited to present to you on today's show, Lynne Hanson. Let's go have a talk with Lynne. Words make you think a thought. Music makes you feel a feeling. A song makes you feel a thought. By E.Y. Harburg. Lynne, thank you for being on the show with us today.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
My goodness, Lynne, music has been one of those things in my life that's like a staple where it really influences everything that I do, my emotions, and pretty much my whole life. And it's beautiful, isn't it, that with music, it has a history of healing our wounds, our pain, and sometimes it's all we have to rely on. It can be our only best friend sometimes. We laugh with it, we can cry with it, we think with it, and definitely we can heal with music. I'd like for you, Lynne, today to share with us your input on the importance of music in our lives, like in our day to day lives.
Well, for me personally, as a creator, I mean, music has been everything to me. And it's been all the things that you just mentioned, especially healing. There is nothing more freeing than writing down in lyrics feelings and thoughts that I might have, or inspiration that comes from other people's lives, and trying to capture that and putting it in a song. And it's been something that I've been doing for almost 25 years now, and I never get tired of it. And I'm just so grateful that people want to listen,
Mm.
because that's everything to me, is that people actually want to listen to the songs. And I'm told all the time by people how important music is to them, and my own songs even. And again, that's such a gratifying thing to know that you can create something that has an impact on someone else and
Mhm.
has a positive influence on their life. Because again, to me, it's just a song, but
Mhm.
to other people, it's so much more than that, and it just really does reinforce the importance of music in our lives.
Sometimes I feel a song, a particular song, is like our lifeline.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's so funny because we go through so many things in our lives and we all have a soundtrack to that life. We all have songs that remind us of a time in our life that
Mhm.
was either happy or sad,
Mhm.
or it was, there was upheaval. And there's always these songs that seem to be associated with this time in our life. And I think, the idea that we do have like a soundtrack to our lives is something that's very, very real.
So true, so true. And on that note, there are times also that certain songs trigger us and they show us what we need to heal because it reminds us of that time that things weren't so good. Or sometimes, yeah, I mean, for me, I'm such a romantic. There are certain songs that are associated with a certain individual that I was in a relationship with. So it reminds me of that person for whatever reason it was. And if that song plays and I haven't healed from that relationship yet, it will trigger me. And most of the time, I'd have to turn it off, just change it because I just can't do it. What is your experience with that?
Oh, I definitely have songs like that. There are songs that I could go back 20 years, and when I hear the song, it brings me back to that moment in time, and I feel that same emotion that I felt when I was listening to that song and
Mm.
going through whatever it was that I was going through. I mean, it's amazing how it's almost like a sense of smell,
Mhm.
you smell something familiar and you're brought back to a moment in time, and I think songs do that to us as well.
Mm.
It's like you just go rewind basically back to that moment in time, and I definitely have songs that have that impact on me, and I still feel those same emotions that I felt
Mm.
at the time, even though it's like 20 years later.
Well, it's funny you said that because I've been reading up on that. And apparently, I mean, scientifically, it's been proven that there's like a memory in our cells, in our DNA, in our brain, that when those senses, whether it be like smell, touch, taste, we go back in time and feel the emotions because it's actually there's science behind it. I don't know if you've read much about it, but I have been trying to understand it a bit more. So yeah, it's been scientifically proven that that's the case.
Okay, so it's not just my imagination.
No, no, it isn't. It isn't. Uh, oh my goodness, Lynn. Sometimes have a story with with our music, and our life almost seems like it is a music piece, doesn't it? And it's like we're going through our chorus and our verse one, verse two, verse three, right? You have a story that I'd love for you to share with us. Perhaps shed some light with some people, a story of pain, experience some upheaval, let's say, and you managed to get out of it. If you would like to share with us, I would love that.
Well, like anybody, I've been in relationships, and I'm currently married, and I'm currently happily married. But I was very unhappily married before this, and it was a long-term relationship, and it was a very toxic relationship.
Yeah.
And I was very young when I got into it, and it lasted a long time, and it took me a long time to get out of it. Just because I like a lot of people, I didn't realize that I deserved to be happy, and
Mhm.
I deserved to have real love.
Mm.
And being in this toxic relationship, it's funny because if you listen to especially songs from my earlier career,
Yeah.
they're very reflective of this kind of upheaval and
Mm.
this horrible sort of sense of heartbreak that I was living
Mhm.
for such a long period of time, and it was very autobiographical. And it wasn't until I got into a happy relationship
Mhm.
that I started to change my point of view in terms of the way that I wrote songs. So it wasn't from the first person anymore. It wasn't about my pain. It was just about pain in general, and it was about, emotions in general, and it became a little bit more universal in terms of, the way that I was writing songs. And so it's kind of interesting to see. the progression of my own writing over
Mm.
time and map it against, these relationships that I've had over my history of my living.
Yeah. Well, I've always wondered as a listener, I'm not a musician, but as a listener, as the audience, when a song is such a hit, I'm wondering if they are living it so much because the lyrics explains what they feel internally. I've always wondered that. So, as a musician, you can clarify this for me.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing is people ask me all the time whether or not the songs are all about me. And sometimes they are, but sometimes they're not.
Right.
And so when a song is particularly popular, like I have songs that people really like,
Mhm.
um, you know, the 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 story behind the song sometimes is very personal. And
Mm.
so it can actually be difficult to play the song because, you know,
Mm.
it's so close to the bone, and,
Mm.
I'm still at a point where I still feel what I was writing about, and even though it appeals to people at a level because they see themselves in that song as well,
Right.
for me personally, it can be as much of a challenge to play it as it is for somebody maybe to listen to it and to have their own emotions or sort of feel
Right.
so raw.
Because you're attached.
Exactly, exactly.
Mhm. Mhm. And I'm wondering if whatever we go through our lives, for example, you as a musician and an artist and a songwriter, you're still a human being and you're going through things in life, right? And as you mentioned, and you have relationships. Your songs are obviously written with inspiration. They happen when you're going through good times, bad times, or other people's lives that you know of, and you take that and somehow it just comes to you and then you write a song. So is it influenced by that? Is it influenced by the people you meet on day-to-day basis when you go on tours? Is that how the songs are influenced?
Yeah, I mean, they come from everywhere. Again, sometimes it's my own personal experience,
Yeah.
but lately, especially, a lot of the times it's other people's living
Yeah.
that I'm writing about, and
Yeah.
so someone will tell me a story, and lyrics will be inspired by me hearing their basically their life. They're telling me about their life, and that inspires lyrics. It's funny because I've been doing a lot of co-writing,
Mm.
and one of the co-writers that I write with, she's gone through a very bad breakup,
Mm.
and we end up writing lyrics by text because she tells me about, you know, how she's feeling and what she's going through. And then I'll send back lyrics because it
Mhm.
inspires something right away.
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting process because again, it's not my living, but it's almost like I'm living vicariously through someone
Mm.
else's living and
Right.
being able to tell that story for them and be able to capture it in words that maybe they can't articulate as
Yeah.
clearly because they're right in the middle of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm wondering, Lynn, if you've ever experienced someone reaching out to you, sending you an email, a letter, or whatnot, explaining how your song or your music in general have affected their lives. Have you experienced anything like that?
I have, and it's a very humbling thing to get a message like that.
Yeah.
I'll get a message that says, I'm I've gone, I've had people say that they've lost loved ones,
Mhm.
and a particular song has helped them through and the healing process to get through that
Yeah.
experience.
Hmm.
And just this idea again that my songs are a soundtrack for them. So
Yeah.
it's a soundtrack to their life, and that they listen to these songs, and that they see themselves in them, and that it means so much. And it's really something else to get a message like that because again, for me, I'm just writing songs.
Hmm.
And so it's a normal thing for me. I don't consider these songs to be special. It's just something that I do. And so to get a message like that it's again, it's quite humbling because,
Hmm.
you realize that, this music is bigger than me.
Yes, 100%. And I understand exactly what you mean because as I listened to you and when I was one of your audiences, when I watched you perform, some of your songs hit me. and I was like, oh my God, she's good. She's good. Like, because you told the story behind the song before you were performing, right? Or like you would had like an intro to it. Oh yeah, I was listening and I'm like, wow, right? And I really enjoyed your performance when I did watch you, and that's why I asked you to come and be on the show. I was really amazed by your voice, by your songs, um, just by your presence. And the fact that you had a story to tell and you're telling your story in bits and pieces, right? Through the songs. I just love that. And I'd love, Lynn, if we can give our audience today, the listeners, the viewers, a taste of that. So whenever you're ready, I'd love for you to perform a song for us, please.
All right. Well, I'm going to play a song called Sort of.
Okay.
I said hi to the sunshine, I counted the wind. I looked past the blue skies, I measured my sins. Was I good to you or did I come up short? Did you ever really love me, or at least sort of? Was it like wildflowers in the deep heart of spring? Did I take your breath away? Was it everything? Was I a yes or just your maybe? Did your heart sing? Or was it just for now? Is that the thing? Vanilla flavored ice cream, you said you didn't mind. There was writing on the wall, you never were unkind. Was it good for you or was it just for sport? Did you ever really love me, or at least sort of? Was it like wildflowers in the deep heart of spring? Did I take your breath away? Was it everything? Was I a yes or just your maybe? Did your heart sing? Or was it just for now? Is that the thing? Betting on the weather, you always came up rain. I wished 1,000 wishes, endings always end the same. What can I do? It was a last resort. Did you ever really love me, or at least sorta? Was it like wildflowers in the deep heart of spring? Did I take your breath away? Was it everything? Was I a yes or just your maybe? Did your heart sing? Or was it just for now? Is that the thing? Was it just for now? Is that the thing?
Hmm. I'd like to clap, but I don't know how the sound is going to come out, so I'm not going to do that. That was beautiful. That's actually one of my favorite songs.
Oh, thank you very
And I
much.
didn't know which song you were going to play today, but that's one of the ones I really liked.
Oh, that's great. That's cool.
The lyrics are just like, it makes you think, right? It takes you back to times and you're like, wonder, was I a yes? Was I a maybe? Was I a no? What was
I
I?
know. I know.
Right? You're on tour quite a bit, right? Or not so much?
I go in spurts.
Mhm.
Like I'll be busy for a couple of months and then I won't be busy for a couple of months. It tends to come in waves.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
right now I'm in the middle of touring, but then
Okay.
as of the sort of the middle of April, things get quieter for me.
Okay. Okay. Would you say your life is hugely affected, your relationships, your marriage, is it affected by this lifestyle that you lead?
Well, my husband he's always known me as a musician,
Okay.
and I think that's a sort of a big deal in that it's never been any way except this way. And so when we first got together, he knew what he was getting into
Mm.
because this is the way things were.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, he's coming with me to the UK for this tour in just over a week, and he's going to drive us around and be my tour manager. Um,
Okay.
and that's a big plus for me. I mean,
Yeah.
he doesn't come with me very often,
Hmm.
but you know, part of the thing when you are traveling is you get homesick,
Hmm.
and so when home comes with you, there's no homesick. And so it makes the touring and the playing a lot more fun. Uh, so, I mean, it's always hard to be separated. Um, so especially, you know, when it's for 3, 4 weeks at a time, you know, it's hard. It can be tough. But he's a very understanding guy, and so I think I'm very lucky in that it doesn't seem to cause problems.
That's very good to hear. I'm happy. I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
A brief stop at a station. If you have a story to share and feel called to tell it, if you want to share your expertise on this show, please send an email to guest@healingtrain.ca. To join me on a journey of healing and recovery, connect with me. My calendar link is in the description. This show is proudly sponsored by Say It Out Loud GG, led by the inspiring Judith Diaz, an avid change maker and passionate advocate for speaking up and raising awareness. The Healing Train podcast is honored to have her support. Now let's get back to the show. Now, generally speaking, from your experience as Lynne the human, not just Lynne the musician and the songwriter and the artist, there are expectations when people get into relationships. And because you are an artist, you feel things and you understand that and you've lived it yourself. What do you think women, I want to talk about women here, okay? The biggest mistakes that women make when they get into a relationship.
Well, I think the biggest mistake that women make is whoever they're with, trying to be the person they think that person wants them to be.
Hmm.
So instead of just being themselves and being true to who they are, there's an effort to accommodate the other person. And I think women tend to do this a lot more than men.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know whether that's because we're socialized to please other people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably a big part of it. And when you do that to yourself, like you can lose who you are and you can lose, you know, your own sense of self. And I think that's a huge mistake. And it's something that I think as you get older, you become more comfortable with who you are, and you're less likely, I think, to give yourself up. But I think especially when, you know, with young women especially,
Mm-hmm.
it's a real issue in that, you know, we work too hard to try and please someone else instead of being who we really are.
Totally, totally. And I'm noticing that it's getting worse by generation after generation, where there's also societal expectations on what a relationship should look like and all the rules and the limitations. There's so many factors involved here when it comes to relationships and how things develop. I also want to talk about, I mean, forgive me for saying this, but I want to say the dark side of music.
Yes.
Okay. I feel personally, from my personal experience, that there's a dark side to music. And by that, I mean, we can sometimes lose ourselves so much in a particular song or a genre of songs where it takes us down a rabbit hole where we end up being stuck in depression and sadness from a loss, a breakup, and we cannot get ourselves out of it, and that is very dangerous. I mean, one thing can have its good side and a bad side, and we talked about the great side of music and how it's, you know, we resonate with it shows us what we need to heal, we can relate to it, it can make us happy. But then the dark side of it, which if used incorrectly, it could really impact our lives negatively. Would you mind sharing your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that's I mean, I think that's probably, true for just about anything, in
Mm,
terms of, how we relate. What we I mean, relating to music for sure. If you're in a dark place,
mm,
you can be drawn to dark music,
yeah,
and that can really spiral in terms of, reinforcing a negative outlook
right,
versus, it doesn't have a healing effect. It
right.
has an effect of just reinforcing and kind of cementing where you are in terms of that negativity.
Hmm.
But I think it's true. I mean, I think that's true with anything that we reach to
Yeah.
in our time of need. Whether that's movies or
Hmm.
whether that's books
Hmm.
or whether it's even people, right? I mean, like when we're in a dark place, we can reinforce that darkness by surrounding ourselves with negative people.
Very true.
I think it's definitely, definitely something that is definitely possible. That it can reinforce, a sense of loss and just keep you there,
Mm,
instead of helping to be cathartic and helping to be healing.
yeah. Yeah. Have you found, I mean, I don't want to criticize anyone. I'm not judging anything at all in particular, but again, I'm sharing my own personal experience. But I'm going to ask you, have you found certain songs out there that were written, produced, and it's out there for the world to enjoy? Better that it never came out, kind of thing. Like you wish that you're like, oh my God, this song, like really have you ever had that? And again, we're not talking about a particular song or artist or a genre or anything. I'm just talking in general. Have you ever felt that, man, maybe this song should not have been made?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think there are songs that are damaging.
Okay.
I think that there are messages in some music that is negative,
Right.
and the world would be a better place without music like that. And
Okay.
a lot of the times when I'm talking about those kinds of songs, it's songs that are misogynistic. Songs that have negative messages, especially around women,
Mm,
really stereotypes and things like that. And there is music like that out there, and it's sometimes it's pretty popular, and
yeah.
it teaches the wrong thing. It's teaching us the wrong thing. So absolutely, music can be a good it can be a good thing,
Mhm.
but music can also be a bad thing.
Mm,
And I think that there certainly is uh, music out there that is sending the wrong kind of messages, especially to young people.
mm, mhm. Well, on back to the subject of heartbreak and pain and wounds, I told you in the very beginning, I related so much to music my whole life. And I think I was drawn, like everybody else, most likely, to songs that mirrored what I was feeling inside, right? And I stayed in there. I stayed in that place because I kept listening to that same song that would make me cry. It's like it wasn't enough. I was crying on my own. No, I needed to listen to the song that I know that would make me cry some more, make me miss the person, and not only make me miss the person, make me want to pick up the phone and send a message. Say, "Oh, can we get back together?" Kind of thing. So it's crazy how a song can really influence your actions. And it can take you down a path where you really shouldn't have gone if you just didn't allow yourself to get so attached to what you're listening to, right?
Well, I think music can reinforce how we feel, right? I mean, that's the magical thing about music, is that it can teach us things. It can teach us about ourselves, but it can also really reinforce emotions that are present. And I mean, that's why when you're in the middle of a heartbreak, you want to listen to heartbreak songs.
Yeah.
You want to hear about other people's pain, because
Yeah.
that's what you feel. And so you want to hear those messages in the music that you're listening to.
Mm.
And sometimes it's a good thing.
Mhm.
Sometimes it can help you to process, and it can help you
Release.
to
Yeah.
get through.
Mhm.
Exactly. But I mean, at other times it can get you stuck as well.
Yeah.
And I think you know it's like anything. There's you
The
know there's
balance.
there yeah, exactly.
And I guess that's the message I would love for people who are watching this episode, listening to this episode today, to get out of this a message that music can be healing and you can use it to your benefit. But watch out if you go down the path where it isn't helping you. You need to learn when to stop, to put a cutoff for yourself, to stop listening to those breakup songs. Like, okay, you're dealing with the pain. I'm not telling you not to deal with the pain. Deal with the pain. Listen to the music. Allow it to the emotions to flow through you. Release. But there comes a point where enough is enough. Like you need to draw that line. You can't keep living in the pain over and over and over. You gotta get yourself out of that. And by that is not suppressing your emotions and listening to happy songs, pretending that you're happy. Again, we don't want you to do that. But just know when the right time is for you to switch from that. Okay, now I've been releasing, I've been grieving, I've been um, processing my emotions. Now it's time for me to lift myself up. And I would recommend listening to certain inspirational and motivational music that will get you out of there. And if you can't find any, maybe music should just have a pause for now. Pause music and go to another modality. Go do meditation, yoga, walking, exercise, do something else until you're ready to listen to those songs again and not let it affect you. That's my take on it. Please share what you feel.
Well, again, I think anything in moderation, right? I mean, having balance in your life is so important, and getting outside and exercising and meditating and just doing things that are good for your mental health and are healthy pursuits. I think all of these things are necessary, and so as important as music is in our life, it can't be the only thing. There
Hmm.
has to be other things, and so you know uh making sure that you are living a balanced life is really important. And for me, like, I have to get out and exercise. I have to try and have a quiet mind.
Hmm.
And I pursue all of these things myself, and I'm a creator, so it's like I can't be creating all the time because it's too much.
Hmm. No, you gotta rest. Like you always have to have that pause in life, no matter what you're doing, who you are, what your career is like, what your lifestyle is. You gotta have that pause moment where you can shut everything off. Music is great, but I don't think it should be the one and only thing in our lives. Like exactly like you said, moderation, balance. There must be some sort of a advice from Lynn the artist and Lynn the person to women again, because my focus is usually women. I know men also go through heartbreak, but in this episode I'd like to focus on women. Some advice where you can tell them from those two perspectives if they're stuck in sadness and grief from a breakup, because you've been there, what can they do?
Well, I think the first thing you do, you have to accept it, right? I mean, you can't push it away. Like, you can't push it down to a deep, dark place and hope that it just goes away. You have to go through the grief. And when you do have a loss in your life, it's important that you allow yourself to feel those emotions and to allow yourself to grieve and to feel that loss and to process it. Um, but then at the same time, in order to get through it, it's probably just as important to be doing things that are positive.
Mhm.
So, getting out and being with friends, getting out and, going for walks, just doing things that have a positive impact can help you in terms of processing that grief. Because again, like when all you are is in the middle of grieving and all you are thinking about is your loss, it's hard to get through to the other side. And ultimately, that's what that's what we have to do, is we have to get through the grief. We have
Yes.
to work our way through it. And I think the way to do that, is to surround ourselves with people that love us,
Mhm.
and make sure that there is love in our life, because that's just such an important thing. And being around people that care about you, and spending time with them, and and taking care of yourself. Like, you have to love yourself first. That's such a big thing. It's such a simple thing to say,
Yeah.
but it's such a hard thing to do, is to actually just love yourself and accept yourself for who you are and all your failings and, all the good stuff and all the bad stuff, and just accepting all of that. And that's part of the grieving process, is to get through and to see your own place in that, and accept, you know, accept yourself for who you are.
Mm. That's beautiful advice from Lynn the artist and Lynn the person. Lynn, would you be okay to have another song to close? I'm gonna recommend something, not in a particular song, but a feel. Since we've talked so much about learning how to process our feelings from grief, loss, breakup, pain, is there a song that you may be able to play for us today that is around that? So if someone wants to sit in that feeling today, can listen to what you're going to play right now?
Yeah, I have a song called "Light in Me," and,
Okay.
we all have the most beautiful light inside of us,
Mm,
but sometimes we lose sight of that light, and you have to
mm,
find it again. And so this song is about that search, in terms of being able to find the light, when you've been in the dark place.
perfect.
Some nights I lie in the grass outside, and I count the stars above me, like a mint on the ground, hanging in a lost and found. I'm waiting for someone to love me. Wanna land on the right side, wanna live on the bright side. I just need to find the light in me, the light in me. Some days I drive just for the ride, a change of scenery. I turn off my phone, pretend nobody's home. I'm alone, but I'm not lonely. Wanna land on the right side, wanna live on the bright side. I just need to find the light in me. Then I could be your movie queen, lighting up all the screens. I could be your fantasy, see the light in me. Last night I had a dream that I was flying free. Air was soft and I could breathe. Glide for hours at a time, getting lost in the rhyme, wanting so hard to believe that I could land on the right side, live on the bright side. I just need to find the light in me. Then I could be your movie queen, lighting up all the screens. I could be your fantasy, see the light in me.
Wow, that is powerful.
Thank you.
And I hope someone out there who listened to this touched them. It helps them heal. It helps them process whatever it is meant to do for you. I hope that that's exactly what it did. Lynn, you've been awesome, and I loved my conversation with you. And I'd love for you to share, how can someone get in touch with you, connect with you, find out about your tours, how to get their hands on your CDs for all your music, and please share that with us.
Oh, the best way to find me is on the internet. I have a website, lynnehanson.com. And if you click through onto my website, you can get everything. There's music, there's tour dates, there's all my social media links. I'm on all the social media. I'm on
Mhm.
Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Facebook.
Well, you gotta be, right?
That's right. That's right. So yeah, but the easiest way to find me is
Yeah.
through my website.
One-stop shop.
Yes,
And Lynn, I love that you are a local artist for me. You are from Ottawa, correct? From
that's right.
Ottawa in Canada. And I was so lucky that I met you here in Toronto in a small little gathering that I was invited to. It's synchronicity. Let's put it that way. We are here having this conversation, and you are here in this show because of all those synchronicities that led me to you.
Well, it's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Me too. Me too. Thank you, Lynn, and we shall speak again soon.
Absolutely.
Thanks for riding along with me on the healing train. I hope today's journey brought you a little more peace, insight, and maybe even a few smiles. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like and share so others can hop on board and benefit too. If you are on a healing journey and want to work with me, connect on Facebook or on Instagram at R2R Coaching. All the links are in the description. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you never miss a stop on the healing train journey. And until next episode, keep on healing you.